Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a beautiful bracelet using the Jesse James Beads Pantone strand in Pale Rosette and Spring Lake. But first, our encouraging word for today, I love this, broken crayons still color. So that says a whole lot. We all go through things in our lives, but we're still valuable even if we have had broken things in our past. All right, so what you're going to need for this bracelet is you will need 2 strands of the Pale Rosette and 2 strands of the Spring Lake. And I'm using these rosette metal beads. I love these. I think these are so pretty. I'm using 4 of these gray, sort of grayish beads. I believe these are from the Spring Lake strands. And then these 2 gray ones as well, these 2 tiny gray ones from the Spring Lake strands. And then all of the rest of these are from the Pale Rosette. We've got all of these little opaque cream colored rondelles. I've got 4 of these little transparent rondelles, and then these. I thought these were so beautiful, 4 of those. And then I'm using all of the bead caps, and I just dropped one. Let me grab it. I keep rolling my chair back, and Sadie's behind me, so I don't want to hit her, but I wish she would find somewhere else to lay. So I've got all of these bead caps, and these were in the Spring Lake strand as well. Focus in there, please. Thank you. Okay, I have 1 jump ring for my lobster clasp. I have 2 2x2 crimp tubes. Here they are, little 2x2 crimp tubes. They're tiny. I have 1 longer ball head pin in silver, and then I have a bunch of smaller ones in rose gold. Okay, and then I have a lobster clasp and this beautiful chain from Jesse James Beads, and I'm trying to see what the name of this chain is. I believe it's UTE. No, I'm wrong. It is the cog chain in bright silver. So I will have links for all of this in the description box below. But yes, this is the cog chain in bright silver. And look, it is really, really cool. It looks like little suns. I guess they're cogs, but they look like little sunbursts to me. But I love this. And what I really love about it is you're going to need a lobster claw clasp. And this lobster clasp will clasp into all of these. So this could be very adjustable, this bracelet can. Okay, so you're going to need that. And then you're going to need a length of tiger tail. And this is 7 strand tiger tail. Okay, so get your stuff together if you want to make this, and come right on back and we'll get started. Alright, so I am going to do kind of a different idea here. So I'm going to save 1 of these and 2 of these little transparent rondelles out for a dangle at the end. So just keep that in mind. If you want to do that, you can. And I'm going to put the rosette beads with these rondelles between them. Then I'm going to do these beads, these bigger beads. I'm going to use the bead caps on them. So I need 4 per side. And then all these little beads are going to be kind of like dangles in the middle. Not dangles, but you'll see here in a second. I'm going to use the ball head pins for them. Okay, so I'm going to take my tiger tail, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish the one end of it. Okay, so the one end is going to go right directly onto my chain, just like this. So I'm going to take, what did I do with my, here we go. Oh, and you can use a wire guardian if you want to. I kind of do want to, so let me grab one. I didn't grab that out. I forgot about it. But, yeah, I would like to use a wire guardian on there. I just feel like it makes it more secure and protects your wire from fraying. So let me grab that really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to take my crimp tube and put it on. I'm going to put my wire guardian on here. So I've got my crimp tube with my wire guardian. I'm going around right here on my wire guardian. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to hook the piece of chain directly onto it, okay? And I hope it will fit up on this wire guardian. It may not, so I may not be using it. I could use, let's see, I could just do it. I'm just going to do it on the, I'm not going to use that little loop on the end. I'm just going to use one of the cogs. Let's do that, because I really feel like it needs the wire guardian. It just makes it more secure. So we're going to scoot that right up in there, and I'll cut that little loop off here in a minute. And then our tiger tail goes right back through our crimp tube. Okay, so here's what we've got. Let me scoot this up. We have got our cog on our wire guardian, and then our tiger tail going through the crimp tube. Okay, now one thing you want to make sure when you crimp, and one thing I like to do when I crimp, is I like to squeeze this wire guardian together. I just like the way it looks when it's squeezed together a little bit better. I don't know why, it's just a thing. Okay, and then I'm going to scoot this crimp bead up, and you want to make sure that your wires or your two pieces of tiger tail are not crossed, that they are sitting side by side, because they're going to go in these little channels when you crimp this. Okay, so we're going to take our crimping pliers, we're going to lay this in the divot in the back, scoot it up so there's no you know, space, so our wire guardian doesn't have any loose wire. Make sure everything's tight, and just crimp right down. And when you do, you can see that each little strand goes into its own little channel there, and that's what you want. And then we're going to turn these crimpers sideways in one of these divots up here up front, whichever one you prefer. I usually use the first or the second one. And we're just going to close it right up. And there we have our little crimp. Okay? And that's exactly what we need. Now, I am going to take my cutters, and I'm just going to cut off this extra little loop right here, just because we don't need it. I don't want it, you know, hanging around there. Okay, so there's what we've got. All right, now I am going to trim this up. I don't need nearly this much tiger tail, so I'm going to trim it up. I still leave quite a bit because I like to make sure I have enough, but I'm going to trim that up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and string on my rosette beads. Now, I like to make sure this wire goes up in here. Okay, just so it's not sticking out, just like that. And then I'm going to put these on. And I'm just going to go ahead and string them all, just like this. These are so pretty. I really, really love these rosette beads. I just think they're gorgeous. Okay, so just like that. Now, when we finish this, we want to make sure that it's kind of tight, because I don't want these flopping around a whole lot, but it doesn't have to be so tight that they're stick straight and act weird. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now we're going to do a bead cap, one of these bigger beads, and another bead cap, another bead cap, the next bigger bead, and another bead cap. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a bunch of little dangles with these. Okay, now these head pins, these ball head pins that I have, are super, super tiny. They're like an inch. And that's not optimal, but that's the only rose gold ones that I had, and the rose gold looked the best. So I'm going to try. We'll see if we can do this. It's not going to be easy, but I'm going to put on a little ball head pin on the bead, and then I'm going to bend it 90 degrees. So I'm not going to be able to wrap very much with this, but that's okay. You really don't need to wrap very much. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab right down here and make a very, very tiny loop. And it can be very tiny because we're stringing it right on tiger tail, so it doesn't have to be big. I'm going to go on around here And I know that before somebody tells me that I didn't have to make wrap loops, yes, I get that. But with these ball head pins, they are so thin that I feel like I do need to make wrap loops. I don't want them to open up, okay? So you can wrap around a couple times if you have these teeny tiny head pins. It's, you know, a little fiddly, but it works. And, you know, just wrap it around enough to secure it onto the bead or onto the wire, and then that's really all it needs. I just want to make sure it's not going to come off. So there I have it. It's wrapped around. I can take my plier if I want and wrap this, make this come on around. Just like this. Okay. And that's what I've got, a little wrapped loop. And we're going to string these directly onto this chain, this tiger tail. Okay, so there's one. I'll do one more with you, and then we'll I'll let you guys do your own. Because you don't want to sit and watch me do this. I do know that. It's going to take a while to make these little wrap loops. So 90 degrees, up, over, and around on the very tip of my plier. Just making a teeny tiny little loop there. Then I'm actually using my crimping pliers because they have a very fine tip and I can reach in there with them. And I'm just going to wrap around a couple of times with my crimping plier. You can grab teeny tiny little and get in teeny tiny spaces with your crimping pliers, the end of them. Okay, so there's another one. And I can take my plier and tuck that in, tuck it around. And then this one goes right on the tiger tail. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to string on, all of these little tinier beads right here. I'm going to, you know, like I did 2 of the cream ones, I'll probably do a gray one, 2 more cream ones, a pink one, 2 more cream ones, a gray one, and then 2 more cream ones and a pink one. So I'm just scattering these in between because I've only got a few of them. I'm just scattering them in. You can do it however you want. But go ahead and make your wrapped loops and put them on there and come right on back. Okay, so I've got all of my little dangles on here and I'm shoving them up together. And then I'm going to add another bead cap and the big bead, another bead cap, and then another bead cap and a big bead, and my last bead cap. Okay, so here's what I've got. If I measure my bracelet, it is right at about 5.5 inches, which is good because my wrist is tiny, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna use some of this chain, so it'll be adjustable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this end, and to do that, I need to grab out another wire guardian. Well, what I was thinking, I didn't only grabbed out one. So there's another one. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing that we did on the other end. Just put our little crimp tube on, wire guardian. And this time I'm just going to put, this is a jump ring. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my jump ring on my wire guardian. Well, I need to go ahead and put it down through here. That's not going to work. Okay, there we go. Now put my jump ring in. Let me make sure this is closed really good though, because it looks like it's kind of not closed all the way. You want it to be closed, and it would actually be best if you just used a closed ring. But I don't have one handy. And if it's closed up good, you should be okay because the wire guardian's a little bit thick, so it's not like it's right on your tiger tail, okay? So I'm going to put that on there, and then I'm going to go back down through my crimp tube and a couple of beads if I can. We'll see where, yeah, he's going to come out right here below this bead, and that is just fine. I'm going to grab that tiger tail right there that's sticking out and pull. Okay. And then I'm going to grab up here, and I'm just going to pull this. I want this to be fairly tight. I want these to be bunched up, and they're not right now, so let me see if I can get it down there a little bit better. Usually, if I do this and pull, it pulls right down through, but it's not wanting to do that right now. Let's get that crimp bead down. Maybe that's stopping it. There we go. There we go. That was it. Crimp bead was causing everything to be blocked up there. Okay, so like I said before, I want this to be tight enough to where these are kind of bunched up here, but I don't want it tight to the point that this looks weird, okay? So I'm just kind of putting my beads on here the way I want them to go, because this is a little bit, you know, you got your roses and your rondelles, so you want it to kind of sit right. So just fiddle with that till you get it like you want it to go, and this looks pretty good for mine. So I'm going to go ahead now and crimp it. Now it's hard to tell on this end if you've got your wires crossed or not. Just try, you know, do the best you can and just crimp it down. Sometimes they are, and there's really not a whole lot you can do about it on this end because you can't really see, you know, you've got beads in the way. Okay, but that looks pretty good. It crimped up just fine. I give it a tug and make sure it's secure. And then I'm just going to cut this wire that's sticking out. Okay, so here's what I've got. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my lobster right on my jump ring, and I could have done that before I put it on the wire guard. I just didn't think about it. So I'm going to just put my lobster right on here and close this up. Okay, so now I've got my chain over here. So if I put this on, it pretty closely fits me actually, but I'm going to leave a little chain. So I think I'm going to cut this right about down here. Right about here. I love this chain. It's so pretty. Okay, so now when I clasp it, I can clasp it tight up here, or I can clasp it down here if I like mine a little bit looser. But I'm going to make a dangle for the end. So I have this ball head pin, this bigger one. And I'm going to take a rondelle and put it on here. And this, I love these little rhinestone rondelles, and then this one. And those will sit right down in there, see that? And make a little, really cute little dangle. So I'm going to go ahead and bend this 90 degrees. Then I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and go up and over and around. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it around here, but I'm not going to close it yet because I want to insert it right onto here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this right up here, and now I'm going to grab this with my pliers, make sure that the rondelles sit down inside that bigger piece, and I'm going to make a wrapped loop. And you want to wrap this tight down to your beads so they don't flop around. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap around several times here. And then I'm going to cut it right off. Tuck in any snaggle. Okay, and there we have our bracelet. Okay, so I can clasp it, like I said, all the way up here if I need to, or all the way down here. And I think it turned out really beautiful. I love this. This was my favorite of the Pantone strands. And I think it turned out really, really pretty. Like I said, this is one of my favorite strands, and I think it's just beautiful, very classy. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, there are links in the description box below. They are affiliate links. But if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and ring the bell so you know when I upload videos. If you don't ring the bell, you won't know. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.